Hello, you're welcome to Mindfulness with Marsha. Past days, we've seen sadness at our ranch family as we've been processing a variety of events with our students, our colleagues, our personal issues at home, and one being the loss of Tina Degree, the principal here in Minot. Her eldest 23-year-old daughter tragically in an auto accident last Thursday. While I had another Mindfulness with Marsha ready that I recorded, it was literally just minutes prior to hearing that there was an accident. And it was ready to go for today. But I really felt led to provide this particular message for all of us dealing with the process of grief. Grief is part of our human lives and will affect each one of us at some time on our life journey. You know, many people ask me, Marsha, with mindfulness, how does that work with grief? What does that have to say? What do you know? I don't have any magic wand for you. I wish I did. But I can share with you what I know and what I'm using right now to process my grief. You see, when we experience any kind of devastating loss, whether it's the loss of a loved one, it could be a loss of a held dream, a loss of a relationship. Feelings can arise within us that are really overwhelming and difficult to cope with. And the sense of grief can also come up when we are separated from anyone or anything that we have welcomed and had close in our lives. And while it may feel that we're caught up in this never-ending spiral of sadness, emptiness, questioning, almost not even knowing how to put it into words kind of feeling, it's important for us to remember that the grief we're feeling is not a permanent state of being. Rather, grief, like celebration or any other strong emotion, is part of a process, part of life. And with grief, it's a part of a process of letting go. That in many ways, once we can fully let go, could be a gift, allowing us to go deeper within ourselves to rediscover that there is light amidst this seemingly awful darkness. The emotions that accompany any kind of loss can be very intense and varied. My emotions on the same exact event are not your emotions. We all experience our emotions independently and individually. A sense of shock or denial is often the first reaction. Oftentimes in that loss, our reaction is replaced by just anger. We are really ticked off. And sometimes this anger can be directed to the very loved one or thing that we've lost. We're angry for them abandoning us. And at other times, you can feel outrage towards God, the universe, life itself, for what you are enduring. Why me? Why now? And while there are recognized stages of grief that people go through, such as moving from denial to this anger, to bargaining, to depression, and to acceptance. And these are all cycles that you can Google and find out more about them, and there are a myriad of books and resources. These cycles of grief often move in not sequential line, logical steps, which is often hard for many of us. Instead, these cycles kind of move in spirals, and they circle forward and back again. And it's hard sometimes to even know where you are in the cycles of grief. You may even experience moments of strength, moments of great faith, and even laughter and humor in between these other cycles and issues of grief. And you might feel like you're abnormal, like, I shouldn't even be happy at this time. What's wrong with me? But while these emotions seem to come and go sporadically, in mindful living, the important part to remember is to feel them. Don't push them, don't say not now, but to feel them at the present moment that they arise. Accept them as you are ready to do so, and as I mentioned, it depends on each person. And allow them to basically flow through like we do with other emotions. And then with time and patience and compassion, you'll eventually find your center again. As we move through our grief, we may find ourselves reluctant to release our pain, because we feel that if we're letting go of who or what we've lost, well, that's wrong. We may even regard our movement towards healing as an act of disloyalty or giving up. I know I've heard people say, well, it's only been one day. How can they be happy? Or why aren't they crying more? Or they're crying too much, or whatever. It all just comes and flows and goes, and there's no right or wrong. And know that while the hurt may fade, this essence of letting go of that hurt, of letting go of that grief, the essence of the essence of what you had and who you loved, you're not letting go of them. You're actually working and transforming yourself. And the process, along with the loss, the process of healing will also forever stay with you. If anything, once you're ready for the pain of your loss to subside, their memories can live more fully with you. So just as a way of kind of concluding our time here together, remember that healing is a part of the spiraling cycle of grief. And that letting yourself feel restored again, you will be surrendering to a natural human movement that's part of this dance that we call life. And during this time, please remember self-care, because we cannot bend down to hold someone up if we're not standing ourselves. And lean in with a pause. You know, we've discovered that a pause can provide your nervous system instant relief just by utilizing breathing techniques. Now, when I say instant relief, I'm not saying, oh, wow, I took a few breaths and now I feel just, 100% better. But it does help to provide peace and calmness to your nervous system so that you might not feel just quite so overwhelmed, or the time of grieving or weeping may be shortened. And a pause can provide relief by allowing a moment of rest, even if it's just a moment of rest for your whole body as well as for your mind systems. And a pause can allow us to increase, remember, the gap between stimulus and response. Well, that's working while the stimulus is our loss, our response is grief, and that gap in between. As we travel through those grief stages, a pause can help us when we say, here's where I am, and this is how I'd like to react respond rather than react. Mindfulness is not a life magic bullet. It's merely strategies that allow this human being, this human, to live presently in where we're finding ourselves right now. And let's face it, for many right now, we're grieving. So I wish you peace and comfort in the days ahead. And I ask too that do not take this journey alone. Reaching out to somebody else, you might not just get your needs met, or maybe you feel uncomfortable even reaching out. But oftentimes reaching out helps other people with their grief, their thoughts, and the fact that you're not alone. Oftentimes that it's only me. This is only happening to me. Why am I feeling like that? That being all alone can be very detrimental. And so reaching out when you feel the need, do so. Do so. And if somebody reaches out to you and right now you just don't feel that you're capable of providing the strength that they need, again, be mindful and say, right now, I just can't really help you with that, but how about this? Or could we come back in 5 minutes for a cup of coffee? Or how about after I'm taking care of my shift, can I get with you? Or tonight, can we grab a burger together? Self-care and realizing that you need to be sure that what you need is being taken care of also as you help others. Be gentle with yourselves, my friends, until we see each other again next week.